Picture this: a world where men and women coexist in perfect harmony, treating each other with the utmost respect, wisdom, and virtue. Sounds like a utopian dream, doesn't it? But what if I told you that the key to unlocking this ideal lies in the teachings of an ancient philosophy, Stoicism? Imagine a society where men approach women as equals, not as inferior or superior beings. A world where self-control and rational judgment prevail over base emotions and desires. A reality in which honesty, integrity, and open communication form the bedrock of every interaction. This is the promise of Stoicism, a path to virtuous, fulfilling relationships that uplift both individuals and society as a whole. As we embark on this exhilarating journey, I invite you to ponder a question. What would your relationships look like if you embodied the wisdom of the Stoics? The answer may surprise you, and it all starts with understanding the 8 things a man should never do with women. Get ready to laugh, learn, and be inspired as we unravel the secrets of Stoicism and unlock the key to a more harmonious, fulfilling way of life. The adventure begins now. 1. Don't treat women as inferior or superior beings. Picture this: you're walking down the street and you overhear a man speaking condescendingly to a woman, dismissing her ideas and treating her as if she were beneath him. How does that make you feel? Chances are, it evokes a sense of disgust and indignation, and rightly so. Treating women as inferior is not only morally reprehensible, but also flies in the face of Stoic principles. The Stoics believed in the fundamental equality of all human beings, regardless of gender, race, or social status. They taught that every person possesses inherent worth and dignity, and that we should treat others with the same respect and fairness that we ourselves desire. This means approaching relationships with women not as a battleground for dominance or superiority, but as a partnership of equals. Imagine the transformative power of this simple shift in mindset. When men view women as their equals, they create space for genuine connection, mutual understanding, and shared growth. They open the door to relationships built on trust, compassion, and reciprocity, the very foundations of a flourishing society. But the Stoics didn't stop at merely advocating for equality. They also cautioned against the dangers of placing women on a pedestal, of treating them as superior beings to be worshipped or idolized. This too is a form of objectification that robs women of their humanity and agency. Instead, the Stoics encourage us to see women as they truly are: complex, multifaceted individuals with their own thoughts, feelings, and aspirations. By treating women with the same respect and dignity that we accord to ourselves, we create the conditions for authentic, meaningful relationships that enrich both partners. So, how can we put this principle into practice? It starts with the little things: the way we speak to women, the way we listen to their ideas and opinions, the way we value their contributions in the workplace and beyond. It means challenging our own biases and preconceptions and making a conscious effort to treat every woman we encounter with the same respect and fairness that we would want for ourselves. The result? A world where men and women can work side by side as true partners, unleashing their full potential and creating a brighter, more equitable future for all. And that, my friends, is a goal worth striving for. But the journey doesn't end here. In the next section, we'll explore another key Stoic principle that can help us navigate the complexities of interpersonal relationships with wisdom and grace. Get ready to dive deep into the art of emotional self-control and discover how it can transform your interactions with women and beyond. Stay tuned. 2. Don't let emotions override rational judgment. Imagine approaching a disagreement with a woman, not with a sense of animosity or defensiveness, but with a spirit of compassion and understanding. By keeping our emotions in check and engaging in rational dialogue, we open the door to resolution and growth. We create a space where both partners can express their needs and concerns without fear of judgment or retaliation. This isn't to say that emotions have no place in our relationships. On the contrary, the Stoics recognized the importance of genuine feelings and emotional connections. But they also knew that unchecked emotions can be destructive, leading us to say and do things that damage the very bonds we seek to strengthen. So, how can we put this principle into practice? Start by cultivating a habit of self-awareness, paying attention to your emotional states and triggers. When you feel yourself getting worked up or overwhelmed, take a moment to breathe deeply and center yourself. Ask yourself, is this emotion serving me and my relationship, or is it clouding my judgment? As you learn to regulate your emotions and approach challenges with a rational mindset, you'll find that your interactions with women become more productive, more fulfilling, and more joyful. You'll be able to weather the storms of conflict and emerge stronger, with a deeper understanding of yourself and your partner. Next up, we'll explore the dangers of deception and manipulation in our relationships with women, and discover how honesty and integrity can pave the way to true connection. Don't go anywhere. The journey is just getting started. 3. Don't deceive or manipulate. Picture this. You're on a date with a woman you really like, and you find yourself tempted to stretch the truth a bit to impress her. Maybe you exaggerate your accomplishments or alter a story to make yourself look better. It might seem harmless in the moment, but the Stoics would caution you against this path, for good reason. The great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The first rule is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are." In other words, honesty and integrity are the cornerstones of a life well lived, and this is especially true in our relationships with women. When we deceive or manipulate others, we create a false foundation for our interactions. We present a version of ourselves that isn't authentic, and we rob our partners of the opportunity to know and love us for who we truly are. This can lead to a host of problems down the line, from broken trust to shattered relationships. Imagine instead the power of radical honesty in your interactions with women. When you show up as your authentic self, flaws and all, you create your beliefs, your hopes, and your fears. The more you understand and accept yourself, the easier it becomes to show up authentically with others. Practice telling the truth, even when it's hard. This might mean admitting when you're wrong, sharing your vulnerabilities, or having difficult conversations. It might mean risking rejection or disapproval in the short term, but building stronger, more resilient connections in the long run. As you navigate the complexities of relationships with women, let honesty be your guiding light. Let it inform your words, your actions, and your intentions. And watch as it transforms your interactions from the superficial to the profound, from the fleeting to the enduring. In our next section, we'll dive into the importance of respecting personal boundaries and fostering autonomy in our relationships. Get ready to discover how true connection thrives in an atmosphere of mutual respect and freedom. Stay tuned. 4. Don't disregard personal boundaries and autonomy. Imagine you're in a relationship with a woman, and you find yourself constantly pushing against her boundaries. Maybe you pressure her to spend more time with you than she's comfortable with, or you try to control her choices and decisions. While your intentions may be rooted in love or concern, the Stoics would warn against this kind of behavior, and for good reason. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "In life our first job is this, to divide and distinguish things into two categories. Externals I cannot control, but the choices I make with regard to them I do control." This powerful insight lies at the heart of respecting personal boundaries and autonomy in our relationships. When we disregard our partner's boundaries, we send a message that our desires and preferences take precedence over their own. We treat them as an extension of ourselves rather than as a separate, autonomous being with their own thoughts, feelings, and needs. This can lead to resentment, conflict, and a breakdown of trust and intimacy. On the other hand, when we respect our partner's boundaries and support their autonomy, we create space for genuine connection and growth. We recognize that true love isn't about possession or control, but about nurturing each other's freedom and individuality. Imagine a relationship where both partners feel secure in their own skin, free to express themselves and pursue their own passions. A relationship where boundaries are honored and autonomy is celebrated. This is the kind of partnership that the Stoics would encourage us to cultivate, one rooted in mutual respect, trust, and support. So, how can we put this principle into practice? Start by getting clear on your own boundaries and communicating them openly and honestly with your partner. This means knowing what you're comfortable with, what you need to feel safe and respected, and what your non-negotiables are. At the same time, make space for your partner to express their own boundaries and needs. Listen with an open heart and mind, and be willing to compromise and adjust as necessary. Remember that a healthy relationship is a dance of give and take, of honoring each other's autonomy, while also finding ways to connect and support one another. When conflicts arise around boundaries, approach them with curiosity and compassion. Seek to understand your partner's perspective and look for solutions that honor both of your needs and desires. This might mean finding creative compromises or sometimes agreeing to disagree. Above all, remember that respecting your partner's boundaries and autonomy is a form of love, a way of showing that you value and cherish them for who they are, not just for what they can do for you. It's a way of building a relationship that is resilient, authentic, and deeply fulfilling. As we move forward on this journey of Stoic wisdom, we'll explore the importance of focusing on our own personal growth and self-improvement. Get ready to discover how investing in yourself can transform your relationships from the inside out. The adventure continues. 5. Don't seek validation through relationships. Picture this. You're scrolling through social media and you see a post from a friend gushing about their new relationship. They talk about how their partner makes them feel complete, how they can't imagine life without them. While it's natural to feel happy for your friend, the Stoics would caution against seeking this kind of validation through our relationships. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient." In other words, real contentment comes from within, not from external sources like relationships or material possessions. When we seek validation through our relationships, we place our sense of self-worth and happiness in the hands of another person. We make them responsible for our emotional well-being, and we set ourselves up for disappointment and heartbreak when they inevitably fall short of our expectations. Imagine instead a relationship where both partners are emotionally self-sufficient. They come together not to complete each other, but to complement each other. They find joy and fulfillment in their own lives, and they share that joy with one another in a spirit of generosity and love. This is the kind of relationship that the Stoics would encourage us to cultivate, one rooted in personal growth, self-awareness, and a deep sense of purpose. When we focus on becoming the best version of ourselves, we naturally attract partners who are on a similar path. We create relationships that are built on a foundation of mutual respect, admiration, and support. So how can we shift our mindset from seeking validation to cultivating self-sufficiency? Start by getting to know yourself on a deep level. Explore your passions, your values, and your unique strengths. Develop a sense of purpose and meaning that extends beyond your relationships. Practice self-care and self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a beloved friend. Recognize that your worth is inherent, not contingent on anyone else's approval or love. When you do enter into a relationship, approach it as an opportunity for growth and connection, not as a source of validation. Focus on giving rather than getting, on supporting your partner's dreams and aspirations while also pursuing your own. Remember that true love is not about possession or dependence, but about freedom and mutual flourishing. It's about creating a space where both partners can thrive, individually and together. As we continue on this journey of Stoic wisdom, we'll explore the dangers of objectification and the importance of treating all people with dignity and respect. Get ready to challenge your assumptions and expand your understanding of what it means to be a good partner and a good human being. The journey is just beginning. 6. Don't objectify or harass women. Imagine you're out with your friends and you overhear a group of men making lewd comments about a woman walking by. They reduce her to her physical appearance, making crude jokes and gestures. While this kind of behavior may be all too common in our society, the Stoics would condemn it as a violation of human dignity and respect. The Stoic philosopher Musonius Rufus once said, "Women are human beings, just as men are, and they have the same faculty of reason, the same capacity for virtue and justice." In other words, women are not objects to be ogled or harassed, but full human beings deserving of the same respect and consideration as men. When we objectify women, we reduce them to their physical attributes, ignoring their minds, hearts, and souls. We treat them as means to an end, rather than as ends in themselves. This not only demeans and degrades women, but it also diminishes our own humanity in the process. Imagine instead a world where all people are treated with dignity and respect, regardless of their gender. A world where women can walk down the street without fear of harassment or objectification, where they are valued for their intellect, their creativity, and their unique contributions to society. This is the kind of world that the Stoics would have us strive for, one rooted in the fundamental recognition of our shared humanity. When we treat women with respect, we acknowledge their inherent worth and dignity. We create a society where everyone can thrive, free from the constraints of gender-based oppression and violence. So, how can we put this principle into practice? Start by examining your own attitudes and behaviors towards women. Notice when you find yourself objectifying or making assumptions based on gender. Challenge those thoughts and replace them with a commitment to seeing the full humanity in every person you encounter. Practice active listening and empathy. When you engage with women, whether in personal or professional settings, give them your full attention and respect. Seek to understand their perspectives and experiences, and value their insights and contributions. If you witness harassment or objectification, speak out against it. Use your privilege and platform to challenge sexist attitudes and behaviors, and to stand in solidarity with women who are targeted. Remember that true respect is not just about avoiding bad behavior, but about actively cultivating a culture of dignity and equality. It's about creating a world where every person can show up fully, without fear of being reduced or degraded based on their gender. As we move forward on this journey of Stoic wisdom, we'll explore the power of open and honest communication in our relationships. Get ready to discover how authentic dialogue can deepen our connections and transform our lives. The adventure awaits. 7. Don't neglect open, rational communication. Picture this. You're in a relationship, and you find yourself constantly avoiding difficult conversations. Maybe you're afraid of rocking the boat, or you don't want to face the discomfort of confrontation. While it may be tempting to sweep problems under the rug, the Stoics would advise against this approach, and for good reason. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This simple yet profound statement encapsulates the importance of open, honest communication in our relationships. When we neglect to communicate openly with our partners, we create a breeding ground for misunderstandings, resentment, and mistrust. We rob ourselves of the opportunity to deepen our connections and work through challenges together. Imagine instead a relationship where both partners feel safe and encouraged to express their thoughts and feelings. A relationship where difficult conversations are approached with curiosity and compassion rather than fear or avoidance. This is the kind of relationship that the Stoics would encourage us to cultivate, one rooted in mutual understanding, respect, and a shared commitment to growth. When we communicate openly and rationally with our partners, we create space for genuine connection and intimacy. We build a foundation of trust and support that can weather any storm. So, how can we put this principle into practice? Start by cultivating a mindset of curiosity and openness. When your partner expresses a thought or feeling, resist the urge to react defensively. Instead, seek to understand their perspective. Ask questions and listen with an open heart and mind. Practice vulnerability and honesty in your own communication. Share your thoughts and feelings, even when it feels scary or uncomfortable. Trust that your partner can handle your truth, and that your honesty will only deepen your connection. When conflicts arise, approach them with a spirit of collaboration rather than competition. Focus on finding solutions that work for both of you rather than trying to win the argument. Use I statements to express your own experiences and needs rather than making accusations or assumptions about your partner. Remember that open communication is a skill that requires practice and patience. It may not always be easy, but it is always worth the effort. By investing in honest, rational dialogue, you create a relationship that is resilient, authentic, and deeply fulfilling. As we near the end of our journey through Stoic wisdom, we'll explore the importance of taking responsibility for our own thoughts, feelings, and actions. Get ready to discover the power of personal accountability in transforming our relationships and our lives. The final chapter awaits. 8. Don't blame others for personal shortcomings. Imagine you're going through a rough patch in your relationship. Maybe you're feeling disconnected from your partner, or you're struggling with your own insecurities and fears. It can be tempting in these moments to point the finger at your partner, to blame them for your unhappiness or dissatisfaction. But the Stoics would caution against this approach. They understood that true personal growth and happiness come not from external circumstances, but from our own thoughts, beliefs, and actions. As the philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When we blame others for our own shortcomings, we give away our power. We make ourselves victims of circumstance rather than active agents in our own lives. We rob ourselves of the opportunity to learn, grow, and take responsibility for our own well-being. Imagine instead a relationship where both partners take ownership of their own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. A relationship where challenges are approached as opportunities for growth and self-reflection, rather than as reasons to cast blame or point fingers. This is the kind of relationship that the Stoics would encourage us to cultivate. One rooted in personal responsibility, self-awareness, and a commitment to continuous improvement. When we take ownership of our own shortcomings, we empower ourselves to make positive changes. We become more resilient, more adaptable, and more capable of creating the kind of life and relationships we desire. So, how can we put this principle into practice? Start by cultivating a mindset of self-reflection and personal accountability. When challenges arise in your relationship, resist the urge to blame your partner. Instead, ask yourself, what role did I play in this situation? What can I learn from this experience? How can I grow and improve as a result? Practice self-compassion and forgiveness. Recognize that everyone makes mistakes and that personal growth is a lifelong journey. Be kind to yourself when you stumble and extend that same compassion and understanding to your partner. Take responsibility for your own happiness and well-being. Cultivate a sense of purpose and meaning that extends beyond your relationship. Pursue your passions, nurture your friendships, and develop a strong sense of self that is not dependent on external validation or approval. When conflicts arise with your partner, approach them as a team. Focus on finding solutions and understanding each other's perspectives rather than assigning blame or wallowing in self-pity. Remember that a strong relationship is built on a foundation of mutual support, respect, and personal accountability. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery and growth. May the insights and lessons we have explored together stay with you, guide you, and inspire you as you continue on your own path of self-discovery and transformation. Until we meet again, my friends, stay curious, stay compassionate,